Hi, John Cena. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andre, and I'm a pro wrestling content creator here in Brazil. The reason why I'm doing this video is kind of funny because actually, I never intended to do this sort of open letter talking about how much you meant to me and the wrestling community here in Brazil. We are not a huge wrestling country, but we have some really devoted fans. And the fact is that today I was watching a video that was launched on the YouTube channel, and it showed several people just being in the arenas where the WWE had their shows this year, and people having the chance to just grab a mic and talk about their experiences and how you impacted their lives. Unfortunately, we didn't have that chance here in Brazil, at least not in 2025. But you were here in 2012 in São Paulo, Brazil, where when we had our only wrestling, our only WWE show here in Brazil. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there, but a lot of us had that chance, and we have been crying and shouting so that the WWE could come back. But this is not the reason why I decided to do this video. The fact that those people had the courage to come on an open mic on the arenas and say how much you impacted their lives motivated me to just do this video and just launch it on the internet. I don't know if it's ever gonna be watched by you. I hope that someone in WWE even shows this to you, because I don't even know how much it's gonna reach. I don't know if it ever it's gonna reach you. But first and foremost, I want to say that I really appreciate that you came back in 2025 to give this farewell tour so that we could see for ourselves how much you are really the greatest of all time. I was a doubter when you started. Even though we didn't always have a very good WWE distribution here in Brazil, we only had WWE full time from 2008 forward. Back in 2020, back in 2002, 2003, I was able to download some WWE episodes on the web, and I saw your career from the start. And even though you were not one of my favorites back then, I could see that you were someone really special. Um, as I said, I had other favorites, but that didn't mean that I didn't respect you for what you did in the ring and for what you stood for. And one of the things that you always said that always stuck with me was to never give up. And that was something that I always carried throughout my life. Understanding that no matter how high was the mountain, no matter how difficult was the task, no matter how treacherous the road was, I knew that I needed to push forward so that I could achieve great things in my life. And I decided to use that as a mantra for my life. And I decided that no matter what happened, I would always push forward and always try to be the best that I could be in what God put in front of me. And after all these years watching wrestling and watching the up and downs and the career that you had, the moments that were controversial and the moments where you gave yourself so that you could elevate other wrestlers. Some of them were all-time favorites of mine, like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Kevin Owens. I finally understood after a few years what you really represented to this company and to the wrestling community. I learned about your all your Make a Wish meetings and how you impacted a lot of people's lives, people that were having very difficult times, and your message of never give up, never giving up, that it really struck with those people, and that resonated with me really well. And this year, only this year, I decided to create my wrestling channel here in Brazil. We have a few wrestling content creators here, but we always struggled because wrestling distribution was never really good here. We were always a very niche content here in Brazil. We didn't have, and we don't have a lot of wrestling fans here. But ever since I started my channel, I always heard about how many people loved you as a wrestler. Even though I didn't grow up watching you, I was already a teenager, a really old teenager when you started wrestling. A lot of people started watching wrestling when you started. And when we had a full distribution of WWE here in Brazil in 2008 on OpenNet TV, a lot of people idolized you for what you were and for how good of a wrestler you were. And a lot of those people are still wrestling fans to this day. And a lot of them came to my channel when I decided to open it in February 17th of this year, 2025. And in the first few days of my channel, I knew that it was going to be a really hard task because I didn't know how far I could reach people. But I always stuck with the never give up mentality. I decided to keep going forward. And your message was one of the things that really stuck with me, to never give up. And when my channel was picked up by the YouTube algorithm, I was really happy. And that was when I started to interact with a lot of Brazilian wrestling fans. And the funniest thing that I had here was knowing the fact that a lot of people really loved you here. Even though not a lot of people watch wrestling, you really connected and resonated with a lot of people here. This thing became so funny that one day I decided to throw a challenge on one of my one of my streams, and I said that if I got a certain amount of super chats, that I was gonna put a picture of you right here, because I always said that I was a John Cena hater. And people really contributed that night, and they forced me to print your picture. And some of my old videos have a picture of you right here in front of the picture of my family. And that was when I realized how much the Brazilian wrestling fans really loved you and cared about you and were really hurting to see you go. So it was with great pleasure that I was able to see all of this farewell tour with all of these people who really, really loved you as a wrestler, as a character, as a man, as a person who gave your time to really help and entertain all of us. I have the utmost respect for everyone who steps in the ring and just throws themselves day in and day out to put a smile on our faces. And this year, I was truly able to appreciate all the nuances of what John Cena really meant. Even the bad guy time, I really appreciated and enjoyed, because I saw that you were a complete wrestler, a complete actor, that you could entertain us, even coming from a bad guy situation. So, what I want to say with this video, if he ever reaches you, if by any chance you are able to watch this, is that from the bottom of our hearts, from the internet wrestling community here in Brazil, we really thank you for all that you've done in all those 20 plus years in the ring, entertaining us, throwing throwing danger through the wind, and just throwing your body out there so that you could give us some moments that we could smile. A lot of us really went through hard times. I have seen people in my channel who say that wrestling have saved their lives, that when they are going through the darkest times, they have been able to turning up their TVs, turning up their computers, watching our streams, and just smiling from everything that wrestling can give them. The joy that we feel on the storylines and the matches and everything that you guys put in the ring, it really touched a lot of lives here in Brazil. And that's why I decided to do this video. English is not my primary language. I struggle with it. But I learned English mostly by watching the WWE. And watching your promos was actually pretty hard, especially in the Doctor of Togonomics era. But I was able to actually improve my wrestling skills thanks to the WWE, thanks to every promo that you and other wrestlers just cut in the ring. But most importantly, I want to thank you for you and the WWE for everything that you have done for the wrestling community in Brazil, for coming here in 2012, by bringing that joy and showing everything that you can do in that little show that we had in São Paulo. We are really craving for the WWE to come back. We really hope that the WWE comes back to Brazil. It doesn't matter if it's 2026, 27. We really hope that you guys come back. But even though we are not going to be able to see you live on your farewell tour, I want to just thank you in the name of all the wrestling community here in Brazil, of all the wrestling content creators. We have guys that have been having this journey for more than 13, 14 years. And I can certainly say from the bottom of our hearts that we truly appreciate everything that you have done to entertain us, to bring joy to our lives. And I want to thank you for everything that you have done. And I hope from the bottom of my heart that you can enjoy your retirement. I know that you're gonna have a very busy life in Hollywood. We will still be able to watch you on the movie screens. And anyway, we just wanna say thank you for everything that you have done. Yeah, I said at the start of this video that I was a John Cena hater when you started, but in the last year, you have turned a hater into a fan. And I can honestly say, even though I was a very, very, very big Bret Hitman Hart fan, that John Cena is truly the GOAT of professional wrestling. Thank you, John Cena, for everything that you have done. Thank you for everything that you have done for every single one of us fans. And have a nice retirement. We love you. And farewell, my friend. We will miss you.